The boutique was supposed to be a simple stop. Pick up Maggie's dress, the one she'd wear to our courthouse wedding next week. The elegant cream number that cost more than most people's monthly rent. Simple, quick, done. But when the seamstress turned around, 6 months pregnant, exhausted, with hands that trembled as she held my fiancée's dress, everything stopped. Jennifer, my ex, the woman I'd left 18 months ago because she was too soft for my world. The woman who'd begged me not to go. The woman I convinced myself was better off without me. Now sewing my fiancée's wedding dress. For minimum wage. 6 months pregnant. And when our eyes met, when I saw the fear flash across her face before she carefully blanked her expression, I knew 3 things instantly. 1, that baby was mine. 2, she'd been forced into this. No coincidence. No accident. 3, someone in my organization wanted me to see this. Wanted me to know. Wanted me to suffer. Your fiancé has excellent taste, Mr. Young, Jennifer said, her voice professionally distant. Like we were strangers. Like she hadn't once known every scar on my body. The dress will be ready as discussed. Her hands shook as she folded the garment, and I realized I was about to destroy everything I'd built. My engagement, my reputation, my carefully constructed future. Because 18 months ago, I'd made a choice. Now I was about to unmake it. Hold up. He left her because she was too soft for the Mafia world. And now she's pregnant and sewing his new fiancée's wedding dress? And he didn't know about the baby? Oh, this is about to get messy. Subscribe right now, because what happens next is going to be devastating. Someone set this up. Someone wants him to suffer. And we need to know who and why. My name is Du-Yoon Young, and I built my life on control. Control over my emotions. My organization. My future. I'm 36. Third-generation Korean-American. Head of the Young family operations. A syndicate that runs everything from legitimate import businesses to less legitimate protection services across 3 states. I inherited the position at 28 when my father was killed. Spent 8 years consolidating power.
This changes
eliminating
everything.
Rivals. Building
I need
an
to think this
empire
through.
that's efficient, profitable, and ruthless when necessary. I don't lose control. Ever. Until today. The boutique was in downtown, an upscale neighborhood where politicians' wives and corporate executives shopped. The kind of place that laundered money through overpriced alterations and custom designs. I could have picked up Maggie's dress. My fiancée, Dr. Maggie Cutshaw, surgeon, 33, brilliant, ambitious, perfect for the life I was building. She came from money. Old money. The kind that opened doors my criminal connections couldn't. Our marriage was strategic, but also real. I cared about her, respected her, wanted to build something legitimate with her help. She knew what I was, what I did. She'd accepted it with the pragmatism of someone who understood that power came in many forms. We were getting married at the courthouse next week. Small ceremony, just family and close associates. Then a reception for 300 at the most expensive hotel in the city. Everything was perfect. Everything was controlled. Until I walked into that boutique and saw Jennifer Edmond holding Maggie's dress with shaking hands and a belly that told me exactly how badly I'd fucked up 18 months ago. 18 months ago, Jennifer and I were together for 2 years. She was a kindergarten teacher, 28 years old, blonde, kind in a way that felt foreign to my world. She read children's books for pleasure. I volunteered at animal shelters, cried during commercials. Everything I wasn't. I'd met her at a charity gala, one of those events my lawyer insisted I attend to maintain my legitimate businessman cover. She'd been there with friends, looking uncomfortable in a borrowed dress, nursing a single glass of wine all night. We'd talked. I'd been charmed. Pursued her. She'd resisted at first. You're too intense, too complicated, but I'd worn her down. Made her feel safe. Made her believe I could be more than what I was. For 2 years, I tried. I kept the violence away from her. Never brought work home. Maintained the fiction that I was just an import-export executive with demanding hours. She knew, of course. Women always know. But she'd chosen to believe the fiction because the alternative was too complicated. Then my father's killer, a rival family's enforcer, came for me. The attempt happened at my apartment. Jennifer was there. She saw everything. Saw me kill 3 men with my bare hands. Saw the blood, the violence, the monster I really was. She'd looked at me with terror. Pure un diluted terror. You lied, she'd whispered. About everything. I protected you. You made me an accessory to murder. You brought this into my life without asking. She'd stopped. I started crying. I can't do this. I can't live like this. Then don't. Leave. You'll be safer without me. I'd meant it as protection, as setting her free from a world that would eventually destroy her. She'd taken it as rejection. Left that night. I'd made sure she got a severance payment. $50,000 transferred anonymously. Made sure no one in my organization touched her. Made sure she could rebuild. I told myself I was being noble, protecting her. Really, I was being a coward. 3 months later, I met Maggie, a woman who could handle my world, who didn't flinch at violence, who saw power and understood it. I'd proposed 6 months ago. We were building something real, something that could last. Until today, until I walked into that boutique and realized Jennifer hadn't moved on, hadn't rebuilt, hadn't been protected at all. Someone had put her here, in this specific boutique, sewing this specific dress. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a message. Mr. Young, the boutique owner, a woman named Diane who definitely knew what I was, approached with professional courtesy, barely masking nervousness. So glad you could make it. The dress is absolutely stunning. Jennifer has done remarkable work. Jennifer. She'd used her first name, like they were familiar. How long has she worked here? I asked, my voice carefully neutral. Oh, about 3 months now. She's one of our best seamstresses. Very talented. Very detail-oriented. Diane glanced at Jennifer, who was carefully not looking at either of us. She came highly recommended. By whom? I'm not sure, actually. Her resume was impressive. References checked out. We were lucky to get her. Bullshit. Everything about this smelled like a setup. Could I speak with her? About some detailed work on the dress. Diane hesitated. Of course. Jennifer, could you speak with Mr. Young about the beating? Jennifer looked up. Her expression was carefully blank. Professional. But I saw it. The fear. The exhaustion. The resignation. Of course, she said quietly. Mr. Young, if you'll follow me to the consultation room. The consultation room was small, private, soundproofed for client confidentiality. Perfect for the conversation we needed to have. Jennifer closed the door. I stood with her back to it. Her hands went protectively to her belly, an unconscious gesture that confirmed everything. How far along? I asked. 6 months. Mine. Yes. Why didn't you tell me? She laughed. It was bitter, broken. You made it very clear you didn't want me in your life. That was too soft, too weak. That leaving was for my own good. That's not. That's exactly what you said. You'll be safer without me. So I made sure you didn't have to worry about me. I disappeared, started over. I tried to build a life. Her voice cracked. Then I found out I was pregnant. And I had to decide, keep it and struggle, or you kept it. Of course I kept it. Despite everything, despite how you made me feel disposable, I wanted this baby. How did you end up here? At this specific boutique, working on my fiancée's dress? I don't know. I was working at a different shop across town, barely making rent. Then I got a job offer here. Better pay, better hours. They said they needed someone immediately. She met my eyes. It wasn't until I saw the work order, Maggie Cutshaw, bride, wedding date next week, that I realized. And by then it was too late. I needed the money. I needed insurance for the baby. Someone set this up? Obviously. Who? How would I know? I'm not part of your world, remember? I'm just the soft kindergarten teacher who wasn't strong enough to handle your lifestyle. The bitterness in her voice was sharp enough to cut. I moved closer. She tensed. Jennifer, I need you to tell me everything. When did you get the job offer? Who interviewed you? Every detail. Why? So you can cover this up before your fiancé finds out? Make me disappear so your perfect strategic marriage stays perfect? So I can protect you. Someone is using you to hurt me. That puts you in danger. I've been in danger since I met you. The only difference is now I'm pregnant and broke and desperate enough to take a job sewing your replacement's wedding dress. She straightened her shoulders. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have work to finish. Your fiancé's dress needs final adjustments. She moved toward the door. I blocked her, gently but firmly. You're not going back out there until we figure out who did this. I don't work for you anymore. You don't get to give me orders. Jennifer, it's Ms. Edmond now. We're not familiar. We're not anything. Her eyes were hard. You made that very clear 18 months ago when you handed me $50,000 and sent me away like I was a problem you'd solved. The money. She knew about the money. That was supposed to help you start over. That was guilt money. Payment for services rendered. A severance package so you could feel better about abandoning me after I'd seen too much. She pushed past me. Now move. I have a dress to finish so I can get paid and keep a roof over my head for one more month. I let her go. I watched her walk back into the main boutique, resume her work with shaking hands and a professional mask that didn't quite hide the pain. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Enjoying the fitting? Your future bride's dress looks beautiful. Pity about the seamstress situation. Almost like someone wanted you to see what you've done. A friend. Not friend. An enemy. Someone who knew about Jennifer. About the pregnancy. About exactly how to hurt me. I had a week to figure out who before my wedding. A week to decide what the hell I was going to do about the pregnant ex-girlfriend sewing my fiancé's dress. A week to fix the catastrophic mistake I'd made 18 months ago. The question was, did I have any good options left? Or had someone already destroyed every possible outcome? I stood in that consultation room for 5 minutes after Jennifer left, my mind racing through calculations. Someone knew about Jennifer, about the pregnancy, about exactly how to hurt me. The list of people who could have orchestrated this was short. My inner circle was small, vetted, loyal. Or so I'd thought. I pulled out my phone, called my head of security. Quan, I need a deep background on someone. Jennifer Edmond, 29, kindergarten teacher, currently working at Diane's boutique downtown. The ex. Quan's voice was carefully neutral. You knew about her? Boss, I know about everyone in your life. It's my job. Did you know she was pregnant? Silence. Then, no. I didn't know that. 6 months. Mean it. I'll let that sink in. Someone placed her at this boutique specifically. Someone who wanted me to see her sewing Maggie's wedding dress. I need to know who. On it. Give me 2 hours. I hung up. I walked back into the main boutique. Jennifer was at her station, head bent over the beading work. Her hands moved with practiced precision despite the slight tremor. Professional. Focused. She didn't look up when I approached. The dress will be ready in 3 days, Mr. Young. Diane will call you for final pickup. I'm not leaving without answers. Then you'll be standing here a long time. She knotted a thread, snipped it, started another line of beading. I have work to do. Your fiancé expects perfection. Jennifer, Ms. Edmond. Fina, Ms. Edmond. Someone is using you to hurt me. That makes you a target. You need protection. I need a paycheck. Protection doesn't pay my rent. She finally looked up. You want to help? Leave. Pretend you never saw me. Marry your doctor. Live your perfect strategic life. And let me raise this baby in peace. You know I can't do that. Why not? You did it once before. The words hit like a physical blow. Before I could respond, Diane approached. Mr. Young, is everything all right? Do you have concerns about the dress? The dress is fine. I have concerns about your employee's working conditions. She's 6 months pregnant. Should she be doing this kind of detailed work? Jennifer assured me she's capable. I'm sure she did, but I'm concerned about liability. If something happens to her or the baby while she's working on my fiancé's dress, I let the implication hang. Diane paled. I see your point. Jennifer, perhaps you should take the rest of the day off. Paid, of course. That's not necessary, Jennifer started. I insist. I said firmly. Consider it a condition of my continued patronage. Jennifer's expression was mutinous, but she couldn't afford to lose this job. She knew it. I knew it. Fine, she said tightly. I'll finish this beating line first. Now, Mr. Young. Now, Ms. Edmond. Diane will pay you for the full day. Won't you, Diane? Of course. Whatever Mr. Young requests. Jennifer stood slowly. I gathered her things with deliberate dignity. I'll be back tomorrow to finish. We'll see, I said. She pushed past me toward the door. I followed. Outside, on the street, she finally turned on me. What the hell are you doing? I need that job. I need the money. You can't just. Someone put you there deliberately. To hurt me. That means you're in danger. I've been in danger for 18 months. It's called poverty, Diyun. It's called being a single pregnant woman with no support system. It's called wondering if I can afford both rent and groceries. Her voice rose. You want to help? Then write me another guilt check and leave me alone. I'm trying to protect you. I don't need your protection. I needed it 18 months ago when you abandoned me. I don't need it now. A black car pulled up. My driver. Get in, I said. No. Jennifer, someone is targeting you because of me. You're not safe. I'm not getting in your car. I'm not going to your home. I'm not letting you back into my life just because you're feeling guilty. She stepped back. Stay away from me. Stay away from my baby. We're not your problem to solve. She walked away, pregnant, exhausted, too proud to accept help. I let her go. For now. But I made a call. Quan, I need a protection detail on Jennifer Edmond. Discreet. She can't know she's being followed. Already on it, boss. Team deployed 5 minutes ago. Good. And Quan, accelerate that background check. I need to know who did this by tonight. Working on it. I climbed into my car. Check my phone. A message from Maggie. Can't wait to see the dress. Diane says it's perfect. See you tonight for dinner with my parents? Right. Dinner with her parents. The congressman and the federal judge. The people whose connections would help legitimize my businesses. The people who definitely couldn't know their future son-in-law had a pregnant ex-girlfriend he'd just discovered was sewing their daughter's wedding dress. I typed back. Wouldn't miss it. The dress is beautiful. You'll be stunning. Lies. All of it lies. The dress was beautiful. But I couldn't stop thinking about Jennifer shaking hands as she sewed it. I had 7 days until my wedding. 7 days to figure out who was targeting Jennifer. 7 days to decide what I was going to do about the baby I just learned existed. 7 days to salvage my carefully constructed future before it all came crashing down. The question was, did I even deserve to salvage it? Or was this exactly what I deserved for abandoning Jennifer in the first place? Quan's call came at midnight. I was in my study, unable to sleep, staring at financial reports without seeing them. Boss, we have a problem. Tell me. Jennifer Edmond's job offer at Diane's boutique came through a placement agency. Agency is a shell. Trace the payments back through 3 holding companies before hitting a wall. Someone with resources. Someone who knows how to hide money. Like we do. Quan paused. Boss, this came from inside. My blood went cold. You're certain? The final holding company? It's registered to one of our legitimate fronts. The one Taeyong oversees. Taeyong Park. My lieutenant. The man I trusted with significant operations. Why would Taeyong target Jennifer? Working on that. But boss, there's more. Jennifer's apartment building. We own it. Through another shell. The rent she's paying? It's going into an account Taeyong controls. He's been bleeding her dry. Worse, he's been documenting everything. Her struggles. Her pregnancy. Photos. Surveillance. It's all archived. For what purpose? My guess. He wanted you to see her at her lowest. I wanted you to know what happened after you abandoned her. Wanted you to feel guilty enough to... Quan stopped. To what? To sabotage your own wedding. To destroy your engagement to Dr. Cutshaw. To prove you're compromised by sentiment. It was a power play. Taeyong positioned himself as the logical replacement by proving I was too emotionally weak to lead. Where is he now? At his usual spot. The Pearl. Want me to bring him in? No, I'll handle this personally. The Pearl was a high-end club we owned. Legitimate on paper. Very not legitimate in practice. I found Taeyong in the VIP section, surrounded by associates, drinking expensive scotch like he didn't have a care in the world. He saw me approaching, smiled. Too confident. Boss, didn't expect you tonight. Thought you'd be home planning wedding details. I sat across from him, waited until his entourage got the hint and left. Interesting situation today, I said calmly. Went to pick up Maggie's dress. Oh, how did it turn out? Beautiful. The seamstress did exceptional work. Very talented. Very detailed. I leaned forward. Very pregnant. Taeyong's expression didn't change. But I saw it, the flicker of satisfaction in his eyes. Problem with the dress? Problem with the fact that you put Jennifer Edmond in that boutique. That you've been systematically destroying her for 18 months. That you're using her suffering to undermine me. That's a serious accusation. It's a provable fact. Quan traced the money, the placement agency, the apartment building. All back to you. I kept my voice level. So let me ask you directly why. Taeyong took a slow sip of his scotch, set down the glass with deliberate care. Do you remember the Huang family raid? 2 years ago. Of course. Do you remember who died? Several people. Occupational hazard. My sister died, Diyun. She was there as collateral for a negotiation you botched. She died while you were busy protecting your soft kindergarten teacher girlfriend. Taeyong's voice was ice. You saved Jennifer Edmond. You let my sister die. You chose weakness over loyalty. The pieces clicked into place. So this is revenge. This is justice. I wanted you to see what abandoning someone looks like. Wanted you to understand the consequences. I wanted you to watch Jennifer suffer the way my family suffered. He leaned back, and I wanted you to destroy your own future by being too sentimental to let her go. Again, you're hoping I'll call off the wedding. I'm hoping you'll prove what I've always suspected, that you're compromised by emotion, that you make decisions based on guilt instead of strategy, that you're not fit to lead this organization. And if I marry Maggie anyway, ignore Jennifer, then you're a monster who abandons pregnant women. Either way, you lose credibility. Either way, I'm positioned to take over when the council loses faith in you. It was elegant, cruel, exactly the kind of long-game strategy one would have respected if it wasn't aimed at destroying me. Here's what's going to happen, I said quietly. You're going to transfer ownership of Jennifer's apartment building to a legitimate charity. You're going to ensure her rent is reduced to something actually affordable. And you're going to stay the hell away from her. Or what? Or I'll tell the council exactly what you've been doing. How you've been embezzling funds through shell companies. How you've been building a power base without authorization. How you've been operating against family interests for personal revenge. I stood. Your choice. Stand down or get buried. Taeyong S. Jiao Klenjet. You're protecting her. Again, proving my point. I'm protecting this family from internal threats. That's what leaders do. I left him there, furious but cornered. By morning, he'd complied. Jennifer's rent was cut in half. The surveillance stopped. The harassment ended. But the damage was done. Taeyong was right about one thing. I was compromised. Because I couldn't stop thinking about Jennifer. About the baby. About the fact that I destroyed her life and then married someone else without looking back. And in 7 days, I was supposed to stand beside Maggie and promise forever while knowing I'd abandoned the mother of my child. How exactly was I supposed to do that? Wait. His own lieutenant orchestrated this whole thing as revenge, and now he has to choose between his strategic perfect marriage and the pregnant ex he abandoned? Subscribe because this psychological warfare is about to get so much worse. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens when Maggie finds out. I should have told Maggie immediately. Should have called her that night after confronting Taeyong. Should have explained everything before she heard it from someone else. Instead, I kept it quiet. Told myself I was protecting her. Really, I was being a coward. Again, 3 days before the wedding, Maggie found out anyway. I came home from a meeting to find her sitting in my living room. Not her apartment, mine. She had a key, but she rarely used it. Preferred her own space. The fact that she was here meant something was wrong. "We need to talk," she said. Her voice was calm. Too calm. The kind of calm that meant she was furious and controlling it. About why Diane Bishop called me this afternoon. Said she felt I should know something about the woman who sewed my wedding dress. Maggie set down her wine glass. "Want to tell me who Jennifer Edmond is? Or should I share what I learned from some very interesting phone calls?" My stomach dropped. "Maggie, I know she's your ex. I know she's 6 months pregnant. I know you saw her at the boutique 3 days ago and have been investigating who put her there ever since." She stood. "What I don't know is why you didn't tell me yourself. I was trying to protect you." "Protect me? Or protect yourself?" She moved closer. "Diyun, I'm a surgeon. I deal with complications every day. I don't need protection from the truth. I need honesty from the man I'm marrying." She was right. Completely right. Jennifer and I were together for 2 years. It ended 18 months ago. Badly. I sent her away, thinking I was protecting her from my world. I didn't know she was pregnant. I found out 3 days ago when I saw her at the boutique. "And the baby is yours." "Yes." Maggie processed this. "So what's your plan?" "I don't have one yet. I'm trying to." "To what? Hide it? Pretend it doesn't exist? Pay her off and hope she disappears?" Maggie's voice sharpened. "Because that worked so well the first time. That's not fair. None of this is fair, Diyun. It's not fair to me that I'm finding out 3 days before our wedding that you have a pregnant ex-girlfriend. It's not fair to her that you abandoned her, and she's struggling. It's not fair to that baby who's about to be born with a father who's too cowardly to claim it." The words hit like punches. "I'm not abandoning the baby." "Then what are you doing? Because from where I'm sitting, you're about to marry me while pretending Jennifer doesn't exist. That's not protection. That's cowardice." She was right. About all of it. "What do you want me to do?" "I want you to be honest. With me. With her. With yourself." Maggie sat back down. "Here's the reality. You have a child coming. That child deserves a father. Jennifer deserves support. Real support, not guilt money. And I deserve a husband who doesn't have massive, unresolved issues with his ex. So, you want me to call off the wedding?" "Did I say that?" She looked at me directly. "I'm a pragmatist, Diyun. I knew who you were when I agreed to marry you. A criminal. A killer. A man with a complicated past. One pregnant ex-girlfriend doesn't change anything. Then what? I want you to handle this properly. Set up support for Jennifer. Legal agreements about the baby. Clear financial arrangements. I want everything documented and legitimate so it doesn't become a weapon someone can use against us later." She paused. "And I want to meet her." "That's not necessary." "It absolutely is. If I'm going to be your wife, if I'm going to help you build a legitimate empire, I need to know everyone in your life, including the mother of your child." "Maggie, this is non-negotiable. You want to marry me? Then we handle this together, as partners. Or we don't handle it at all, and I walk away now before I'm legally tied to your complications." She meant it. I could see it in her eyes. "Okay," I said. "We handle it together." "Good. Now call her. Set up a meeting. Tomorrow." "She won't agree." "Then make her agree. You're good at convincing people, aren't you? Use those skills for something productive." Jennifer didn't want to meet. "Absolutely not," she said when I called. "I'm not having coffee with your fiancé, like we're all civilized adults. I'm not pretending this situation is normal. It's not about pretending. It's about figuring out how to move forward. For the baby and I are fine without you. Without her. Without any of this. Jennifer, please. Just one meeting. One conversation. If you still want us to leave you alone after that, we will." She was quiet for a long time. Finally, one meeting. Public place. And if she's condescending or pitying, I'm walking out. Fair enough. The coffee shop was neutral. Mid-afternoon on a weekday. Not too crowded. Easy to leave if things went badly. Jennifer arrived first. 6 months pregnant, exhausted, but holding herself with dignity. She dressed carefully, professional clothes that didn't quite hide how thin she'd gotten despite the belly. Maggie arrived exactly on time. Designer suit. Confidence in every step. Everything Jennifer wasn't. The contrast was brutal. Jennifer, Maggie said, extending her hand. Thank you for meeting with us. Jennifer shook it reluctantly. Let's skip the pleasantries. What do you want? I want to help. I don't need your help. You're 6 months pregnant, working for minimum wage, living in a building you can barely afford. You need someone's help. It might as well be ours. Jennifer's jaw clenched. I'm not a charity case. I'm not offering charity. I'm offering a business arrangement. Maggie sat. Diyun made mistakes. Significant mistakes. But that baby is his biological child. He has responsibilities. And I intend to make sure he meets them. Properly, legally, without drama. How generous. It's practical. I'm marrying him in 3 days. That baby will exist whether I like it or not. So we can either pretend it doesn't exist and deal with problems later, or we can set up a framework now that protects everyone, including you. Jennifer looked at me. Is she always like this? Yes. Must be exhausting. It has its moments. Maggie ignored us. Pulled out a folder. I had my lawyer draft some documents. Child support agreement. Healthcare coverage. Education fund. Visitation rights. Flexible, since I assume you'll want primary custody. Jennifer stared at the papers. You made a legal agreement? Without asking me. I made a proposal. You're welcome to have your own lawyer review it. Make changes. Negotiate. But, Jennifer, Maggie's voice softened slightly. You deserve security. That baby deserves security. And this is me ensuring you both get it. Why? Why do you care? Because I refuse to start a marriage with unresolved chaos hanging over us. Because that baby is innocent and deserves better than parents who can't communicate. Because Maggie paused. Because despite everything, I actually respect you. Respect me. You kept the baby. You're working to support it. You're not trying to trap Diyun or extort him. You're trying to handle this alone because you're too proud to ask for help you think you don't deserve. Maggie slid the papers forward. That's admirable, but it's also stupid. Accept the help. Let us set up something sustainable. Move forward. Jennifer's hands shook as she looked at the documents. I need to think about it. Fair enough. Take a week. Have a lawyer review it. We'll adjust whatever you need adjusted. Maggie stood. But Jennifer, whatever you decide about the legal arrangements, please don't shut Diyun out of that child's life. He made mistakes. Bad ones. But he's trying to fix them. That's more than most men in his position would do. After Maggie left, giving us space deliberately, Jennifer looked at me. She's formidable. Yes. Do you love her? I respect her. Trust her. Want to build something with her. That's not the same as love. No, but it's more sustainable. Jennifer was quiet for a moment. Then, did you love me? When were we together? Yes, but not enough to stay. I stayed as long as I could. Then my world destroyed yours. I thought leaving was protecting you. It wasn't protection. It was abandonment. I know that now. She gathered her things. I'll look at the papers. Have a lawyer review them. But Diyun, she met my eyes. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for my baby. So she has what she needs. Don't confuse that with forgiveness. I won't. She left. And I sat there wondering if 3 days was enough time to salvage any of this. Or if I was about to start a marriage knowing I destroyed the woman carrying my child. The morning of my wedding, I woke up at 5 a.m. from a nightmare about Jennifer going into labor alone. Maggie was already awake. We'd spent the night together, tradition be damned, in her apartment. Can't sleep either, she asked. Thinking about everything that could go wrong today. Weddings always have complications. We'll handle them. She turned to look at me. Are you having second thoughts? About marrying you? No. About everything else? I thought about Jennifer. About the baby. About the fact that in a few hours I'd be legally bound to one woman while another woman carry my child. Yes. Constantly. Good. That means you're not a sociopath. Maggie sat up. Diyun, I need you to understand something. I'm going into this marriage with my eyes open. I know about your world. About the violence. About Jennifer and the baby. I know all of it. And I'm choosing this anyway. Why? Because you're honest about what you are. Because you're trying to be better. Because I think we can build something real. Not perfect, but real. She touched my face. But I need you to be fully present today. Not thinking about Jennifer. Not feeling guilty. Just here. With me. Choosing this. I can do that. Good. Because Diyun, her voice turned serious. If you can't choose me fully, if you're going to spend our entire marriage wondering what if, then we should stop this now. Before it's legal and complicated. I'm not going to stop it. I want this. Want us. I want the future we're building. Then let's go build it. The courthouse ceremony was at 2 p.m. Small, intimate. Maggie's parents. My mother. A few close associates. My lawyer was a witness. No Taiyang. I made sure of that. Maggie looked stunning. The dress Jennifer had sewn fit perfectly. Elegant. Understated. Everything Maggie was. I should have been focused on the woman in front of me. Instead, I kept thinking about the woman who'd made the dress with shaking hands. Diyun Young, take Maggie Cutshaw to be your lawfully wedded wife. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I ignored it. To have and to hold. From this day forward. It buzzed again. And again. The judge paused, irritated. Would you like to answer that? No. I apologize. Maggie's expression was carefully neutral. But I saw the tension around her eyes. For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer. The phone rang. Actually rang, vibrating insistently against my leg. Diyun, Maggie said quietly. Answer it. It can wait. If someone's calling you during your wedding, it's important. Answer it. I pulled out the phone. Unknown number. Yes. Mr. Young. A woman's voice. Stressed. This is St. Mary's Hospital. We're calling about Jennifer Edmond. You're listed as her emergency contact. My blood went cold. What happened? She's in labor. Complications. The baby's in distress. We need surgical intervention, but she's refusing until she speaks with you. Can you come? I looked at Maggie. At the judge. At the ceremony we were in the middle of. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I hung up. Maggie's parents looked shocked. Her mother started to say something. But Maggie held up a hand. It's Jennifer, isn't it? She's in labor. Complications. They need my consent for surgery. Then go. Maggie, go. Save your baby. We'll finish this later. Her voice was steady. I mean it. This is important. Go. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. Just go. In Diyun, she grabbed my hand. Bring them both back safe. Then come back to me. In that order. I kissed her. Quick. Grateful. Then I ran. St. Mary's Hospital was 15 minutes away if you ignore traffic laws. I made it at 12. Found Jennifer's room. She was pale. In pain. Surrounded by medical equipment and worried nurses. Diyun, she gasped. The baby. Something's wrong. They want to do emergency C-section, but I'm scared. It's okay. I'm here. Do the surgery. Whatever they need to do. I need you to promise. If something happens to me, promise you'll take care of her. Nothing's happening to you. You're both going to be fine. Promise me. I promise. Now let them help you. The medical team moved fast. Efficient. Professional. I wasn't allowed in the surgical suite. Hospital policy. So I waited. In the hallway. Still wearing my wedding suit. Wondering how I'd ended up here instead of at my wedding reception. Maggie called. How is she? In surgery. Baby's in distress. They think they can save both of them. Good. Call me when you know more. Maggie, I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. This is life. It's complicated. We handle it. She paused. And Diyun, I'm proud of you. For being there. For showing up. That's what matters. I love you. I know. Now to go be a father. We'll deal with being married later. My daughter was born at 4:47 p.m. 5 pounds, 3 ounces. Too small, but breathing. Fighting. Jennifer survived the surgery. Barely. There had been complications. Hemorrhaging. They'd had to work fast. But she was alive. I stood in the NICU, looking at the tiny human in the incubator. My daughter. She had Jennifer's nose. My dark hair. Fists clenched like she was ready to fight the world already. She's beautiful, Jennifer said from the wheelchair behind me. Weak but alive. She's perfect, What do we name her? I thought you'd already chosen. I wanted to have input. She's your daughter too. Caroline, after my grandmother. If that's okay with you. Caroline Edmondson. Jennifer smiled. Tired but real. I like it. A nurse approached. Mr. Young, there's a woman here. Says she's your wife? Though the system shows. Maggie entered the NICU, still in her wedding dress, looking completely out of place and absolutely certain. I told them I'd handle the paperwork, she said. Someone needs to make sure this baby gets on your insurance immediately. Jennifer stared. You came. Of course I came. That's Du Yoon's daughter. My stepdaughter, technically, even if the wedding didn't finish. Maggie approached the incubator, looked at Caroline with professional assessment. She's small, but fighters survive. She'll be fine. How can you be so calm about this? Because panic doesn't help anyone. Practicality does. Maggie pulled out her phone, started making notes. Jennifer, you'll need post-operative care. I'm arranging a private nurse. You can't be alone for the first 2 weeks. I can't afford. I didn't ask if you could afford it. I'm telling you it's handled. Maggie's voice softened. You just had major surgery. You have a premature baby in NICU. You need help. Accept it. Jennifer looked at me. Did you marry her already? We were in the middle of the ceremony when the hospital called. So you left your wedding. For me. For Caroline. And for you. I don't know what to say. Say thank you, Maggie interjected. And let us help. Both of us. As co-parents figuring this out together. Jennifer was quiet for a long moment. Then she started crying. Not sad tears. Overwhelmed tears. Thank you, she whispered. For coming. For caring. For not abandoning us this time. We're not abandoning anyone, I said. Not you. Not Caroline. Not anymore. Maggie's phone rang. She stepped away to answer it. When she came back, her expression was grim. That was Kwon. Taeyong's made a move. He's calling an emergency council meeting, claiming you're unfit to lead because you abandoned your own wedding for, she stopped. For what he's calling your pregnant mistress. Jennifer's not my mistress. I know that. The council doesn't. And Taeyong's spinning this as proof you're compromised by sentiment. Weak. Unfit. What do? You face them. Tonight. And you tell them the truth, that you're handling a family emergency. That you're taking responsibility for your child. That being a father doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. And if they don't accept that, then we fight for your position. Together. Maggie squeezed my hand. But first, you make sure Jennifer and Caroline are stable. Then we go to war. He left his own wedding to save his baby, and now his lieutenant is staging a coup, and his fiancée is helping him fight it while standing in the NICU in her wedding dress. This is the most insane chapter I've ever written. Subscribe because the next chapter is when the entire organization explodes and someone is not making it out alive. The council meeting was at midnight. Traditional. Symbolic. The witching hour when decisions that shaped our organization were made. I'd left the hospital at 11 p.m. Jennifer was stable. Caroline was fighting. Maggie had stayed behind to manage the medical details and keep Jennifer company. Go handle your business, she'd said. I'll protect your family. Your family. She'd said it naturally, including Jennifer and Caroline in that definition. I loved her for it. The meeting was at one of our legitimate properties, a warehouse converted to high-end offices. Neutral ground. All 12 council members were present. The heads of our various operations. The old guard who'd served my father. And Taeyong, looking confident. Too confident. Thank you for coming on such short notice, he began. I've called this meeting because we have a leadership crisis. There's no crisis, I said calmly. There's a personal situation I'm managing. You abandoned your own wedding, Taeyong said. Left your bride standing at the courthouse. For what? A woman you discarded 18 months ago. A woman who means nothing to this organization. She's the mother of my child. That makes her relevant. It makes you weak. Compromised. Unable to separate personal sentiment from organizational necessity. Taeyong looked around the table. Our leader should be strategic, ruthless when necessary, not running to hospitals for ex-girlfriends who got themselves pregnant. Several council members shifted uncomfortably. Taeyong, said Elder Cho, the oldest member, the one who'd known my father. What exactly are you proposing? A vote of no confidence. A new leader who won't be distracted by personal drama. Someone who puts this organization first. Someone like you? I've proven my dedication. You've proven your ambition, I interrupted. Should we tell the council about the shell companies you've been running? The money you've been siphoning? The fact that you deliberately targeted Jennifer Edmond to undermine me? Taeyong's expression flickered. That's provable. Documented. Kwon. I nodded to my head of security. Kwon distributed folders. Financial records. The paper trail connecting Taeyong to Jennifer's suffering. For 18 months, I said quietly, Taeyong has been running an unsanctioned operation, using family resources for personal revenge, targeting a civilian to hurt me. That's not strength. That's instability. Elder Cho studied the documents. This is true. You've been operating without approval. I was protecting this organization from Duyun's weakness. By torturing a pregnant woman? By embezzling funds? By building a power base behind our backs? Elder Cho's voice hardened. That's not protection. That's treason. The council needs to know the full context. The context, I said, is that Taeyong blames me for his sister's death. Believes I chose to save Jennifer over saving her during the Huang raid. He's been seeking revenge ever since. Is that true? Another council member asked Taeyong. My sister died because he was distracted by his soft girlfriend. Because he prioritized personal attachment over family loyalty. I prioritized saving a civilian over escalating a gunfight that would have killed everyone in that building. I corrected. Your sister's death was tragic. But it wasn't a choice. It was a consequence of the life we live. Of the dangers inherent in this work. You let her die. I try to save everyone. I failed. But that failure doesn't justify what you've done to Jennifer. What you've done to this organization with your unauthorized operations. The room was silent. Then Elder Cho spoke. I move we table the vote of no confidence. Instead, I propose we vote on Taeyong's continued position in this organization. You can't, Taeyong started. I can. You've admitted to unsanctioned operations, to targeting civilians, to using family resources for personal vendettas. Those are violations of our most basic codes. Elder Cho looked around the table, all in favor of removing Taeyong Park from his position. 8 hands went up, a clear majority. Taeyong's face went pale, then furious. This is a mistake. He's weak. He'll destroy everything our fathers built because he can't separate his heart from his head. Meeting adjourned, Elder Cho said firmly, Taeyong, you have 24 hours to transfer all operations and vacate all family properties. After that, you're no longer protected by our organization. You're making me an outsider? You made yourself an outsider when you went rogue. This is simply making it official. After the meeting, Elder Cho pulled me aside. Your father would have handled that differently. My father would have killed him immediately. Yes, he would have. You showed restraint. Some would call that weakness. What would you call it? Evolution. The old ways built this organization, but they also made enemies. Perhaps your way, finding solutions that don't always end in blood. Perhaps that's what we need now. He paused. But Duyun, you need to understand something. Tonight you won because you had evidence, had strategy, had control. But leaving your wedding? That gave Taeyong ammunition. That made you look emotionally compromised. I was emotionally compromised. My child was dying. And that's admirable. Human. But in this world, being human is often seen as a weakness. You'll need to prove you can balance both, being a father and being a leader. Because if you can't, there will be others like Taeyong. Others who see opportunity in your divided attention. I can balance both. I hope so. For your sake. For Jennifer's sake. For that baby's sake. How do y'all squat me, Xiaoda? Now, go back to the hospital. Be with your family. We'll handle Taeyong's exit. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just prove me right. Prove that being human doesn't make you weak. Prove that love can coexist with leadership. I returned to the hospital at 2 a.m. Found Maggie asleep in a chair beside Jennifer's bed, still in her wedding dress, exhausted but keeping watch. Jennifer was awake, looking at her daughter through the NICU window. "How did it go?" she asked quietly. "Taeyong's out. The council supported me." "Good. He deserved it. What he did to me." She stopped. "I am sorry. About your wedding. About ruining everything." "You didn't ruin anything. Life happened. We're handling it. Is she really okay with this? Your fiancé? With me and Caroline existing? She's remarkable. More remarkable than I deserve. You should go to her. Finish what you started. Get married properly. We will. When the time is right. When Caroline's stable. When you're recovered." I looked at my daughter. "Right now, this is where I need to be." Jennifer was quiet for a moment. Then, "Thank you. For coming today. For not abandoning us." For her voice broke. "For showing up. I should have shown up 18 months ago. Should have found you. Should have known about Caroline. Should have been there all along. You're here now. That's what matters." Maggie stirred. Opened her eyes. Saw us talking. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Everything's okay," I said. "Thank you. For staying. For protecting them. For understanding. That's what family does." She stood. Stretched. "Now, I'm going home to sleep. You should too. Jennifer's stable. Caroline's stable. The nurses will call if anything changes. I'll stay." "No, you need rest. Tomorrow you have a wedding to reschedule, a daughter to visit, and a life to rebuild." Maggie kissed my cheek. "Come home. We'll figure everything else out together." She was right. We went home. Finally married at 4 a.m. in an emergency courthouse ceremony with just my lawyer as witness. It wasn't the wedding either of us had planned, but it was real, honest, built on a crisis that proved we could handle anything together. Caroline stayed in the NICU for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of daily visits. Watching her fight. Watching her grow stronger. Watching Jennifer recover and transform from exhausted to determined. Maggie came every few days. Brought food. Handled medical paperwork. Made sure Jennifer had everything she needed. It was surreal. My wife and my ex-girlfriend bonding over my daughter. "This is the weirdest situation I've ever been in," Jennifer said one afternoon. We were alone in the NICU. Maggie was in surgery. "Your wife is helping me raise your baby. How is this normal?" "It's not normal, but it's working." "Is it?" "Because I feel like a charity case. Like I'm this obligation you're both managing to avoid scandal. You're not an obligation. You're Caroline's mother. That makes you important. Belmano. But not family. You are family. Just complicated family." Jennifer laughed. It was tired. A little bitter. Complicated. That's one word for it. "Have you thought about the custody arrangements?" Maggie's lawyer drew up some options. "I know. I've been reviewing them." She looked at Caroline. "I want primary custody, at least while she's young. But I want you to be involved. Really involved. Not just sending money. Actually being a father. I want that too." And Maggie? What does she want? She wants whatever creates the most stability for Caroline. That's very diplomatic. She's very pragmatic. Is that what you want? Pragmatic partnership instead of passionate love. I want to be sustainable. Real. Build on honesty instead of fantasy. That sounds lonely. Maybe it was. But it was also safe. 2 weeks after Caroline came home from the hospital, Jennifer's brother showed up. Michael Edmond, 35, lawyer, protective older brother who'd been out of the country for work and had just learned his sister had a baby. With a criminal. "You're Do Yoon Young," he said when I opened Jennifer's door. She'd given me a key for emergencies. "I am. The man who abandoned my sister while she was pregnant." "Yes. And now you're here because I'm trying to fix my mistakes. Be a father to Caroline. Support Jennifer. Support. That's a nice word for what you're doing." Michael pushed past me. "Where's Jennifer?" "Feeding Caroline. In the bedroom." He disappeared down the hall. I heard voices. Jennifer's calm. Michael's agitated. 10 minutes later, they emerged. Jennifer carrying Caroline. Michael looking furious. "We need to talk," he said. The 3 of us. We sat in Jennifer's small living room. The apartment I made sure she could afford now. Still not much, but clean. Safe. Hers. Jennifer told me everything, Michael said. About your relationship. About how you left her. About the baby. About your wife helping arrange custody. Okay. That's it? Okay. What do you want me to say? I made mistakes. I'm trying to fix them. You can't fix abandonment. You can't undo 18 months of her struggling alone. Michael leaned forward. But you can give her what she deserves. Real security. Real support. Not just money. Not just visits. Real commitment. I'm married. I know you're married. To a surgeon who seems very understanding about your complicated family situation. That's great for you. But what about Jennifer? What about her future? She can't date. Can't build a life of her own. Because she's connected to you. Because any man she meets will have to accept that she shares a child with a crime boss. I didn't think about that. No, you didn't. Because you got to move on. Got to marry someone new. Build your perfect strategic partnership. While Jennifer's life revolves around your daughter and your schedule and your wife's legal arrangements. He was right. I hadn't thought about Jennifer's future beyond making sure she had money and support. What do you want me to do? I want you to set up a trust. A real trust. Enough money that she never has to worry again. Enough that she can go back to school if she wants. Enough that she has choices beyond surviving. Done. I want legal documentation that you won't fight for primary custody. That Caroline lives with Jennifer unless Jennifer decides otherwise. Done. And I want you to stay away unless Jennifer invites you. No showing up unannounced. No using your key. No treating her home like an extension of your property. That one hurt. But he was right. Done. Michael looked surprised. That's it? You're agreeing to everything. You're protecting your sister. I respect that. And you're right. I have been treating Jennifer like an obligation to manage instead of a person with her own life. That stops now. What about your wife? Does she agree with this? Maggie wants what's best for Caroline. If that means Jennifer having full autonomy, she'll support it. Michael turned to Jennifer. What do you want? She looked at me. Then at Caroline. Then back at her brother. I want to raise my daughter in peace. I want you to be involved, but on my terms. I want to know I'm not going to wake up one day and discover he's decided to take her because he has better lawyers and more money. I would never do that. You said you'd never abandon me either. Forgive me if I need legal protection. Fair. Completely fair. I'll have my lawyer draw up everything. You'll review it. Make changes. Whatever you need to feel secure. Thank you. Michael stood. I'm staying in town for a week. If you do anything to hurt her again, I will dedicate my entire legal career to destroying you. Clear. Crystal. After he left, Jennifer sagged into the couch. I'm sorry about Michael. He's protective. He should be. He's right about everything. Is he? Because Diyun, I don't want you to disappear. I want Caroline to know her father. I need boundaries. Clear ones. So I don't feel like I'm just an appendage to your real life. You're not an appendage. You're important. You and Caroline both. Then prove it. Not with money. Not with lawyers. With respect. With honoring my choices. With treating me like a co-parent instead of a complication. I will. I promise. She looked skeptical, but hopeful. Maybe that was enough. 6 months after Caroline's birth, everything fell apart. I've been trying, really trying, to balance being a father, being a husband, being a leader. It was exhausting. I visited Caroline 3 times a week. Always scheduled. Always on Jennifer's terms. Maggie came sometimes. Usually not. She had her own life. Her own career. Our marriage was solid. Built on trust and pragmatism and shared goals. But something was missing. I realized what it was the night Jennifer called me at 2 a.m. Caroline's sick. High fever. I'm taking her to the ER. Can you meet me there? I was there in 20 minutes. Found Jennifer in the waiting room. Panicked. Caroline screaming in her arms. They're running tests. They think it's just a virus, but they want to be sure. It's okay. She's going to be okay. You don't know that. She's so small. What if it's something serious? What if? I pulled her close. Let her cry into my shoulder. Let her be terrified without judgment. And I realized I still loved her. Not Maggie. Not in the way I should love my wife. Jennifer. Still. Always. Diyun. Maggie's voice. I turned. She was standing in the ER entrance, still in scrubs from work. Jennifer called me. She explained. Said you might need support. Jennifer had called her. Called my wife to help with our daughter's emergency. Thank you for coming. Maggie assessed the situation quickly. Caroline's with doctors? Yes. Running tests. Then we wait. Together. We sat in that waiting room for 3 hours. The three of us. Jennifer between us. United in worry. When the doctor finally emerged, just a virus, she'll be fine. Jennifer collapsed. Not physically. Emotionally. All the fear releasing at once. Maggie caught her. Held her while she sobbed. Let her be human and terrified and overwhelmed. And I watched my wife comfort the mother of my child and realized how deeply unfair all of this was. To Jennifer, trapped in my orbit forever because of Caroline. To Maggie, married to a man whose heart was divided. To Caroline, who would grow up navigating this complicated family. A week later, I told Maggie the truth. I'm still in love with Jennifer. We were in her apartment. Our apartment, technically. We live together now. Maintained the appearance of a normal marriage. But it wasn't normal. I know, Maggie said calmly. You know, I've known for months. I'm not blind, Diyun. The way you look at her. The way you find excuses to visit. The way you light up when you talk about Caroline. She set down her wine glass. You're in love with your ex. That's not exactly shocking. Then why did you marry me? Because I thought I could live with it. Thought pragmatism would be enough. Thought building an empire together would compensate for divided affection. She looked at me directly. I was wrong. Maggie, I want a divorce. The words hung between us. What? I want a divorce. Amicable. Civilized. We'll split our assets fairly. Maintain our business partnerships. Stay friends. But I'm not staying married to a man who's in love with someone else. I respect you. I trust you. We have something real. We have a partnership. That's not the same as a marriage. She stood. I'm not angry. I'm not even hurt. I'm just realistic. You belong with Jennifer. I belong with someone who isn't emotionally unavailable. Does this mean you met someone? No, but I will. And when I do, I don't want to be trapped in a marriage of convenience with a man whose heart is elsewhere. She was right. About all of it. I'm sorry. Don't be. We tried. It didn't work. That's life. She pulled out already prepared papers. I had my lawyer draw these up last week. Fair terms. No drama. We walk away clean. You planned this. I'm pragmatic, remember? I saw this coming months ago. Just took time to accept it. She slid the papers forward. Sign them. Be free. Go be with Jennifer if that's what you want. It's not that simple. It is exactly that simple. You love her. You have a child together. Stop fighting it and build the life you actually want instead of the life you think you should want. Jennifer doesn't want me. We've been co-parenting successfully because there's distance. Then close the distance. Take a risk. Stop being so controlled and calculated about everything. Be human. Be vulnerable. See what happens. She was giving me permission. Freedom. The chance to fix what I'd broken 18 months ago. Thank you, I said quietly, for understanding, for not making this ugly. We're adults. We can end things with dignity. She smiled. Besides, I like Jennifer. She's good for you. Makes you less intense. More human. What will you do? Focus on my career. Date. Eventually find someone who's emotionally available. She paused. And stay in Caroline's life, if Jennifer's okay with that. I've gotten attached to that kid. She'd probably like that. Good. Then we'll figure it out. Maggie extended her hand. Partners. Always. We shook on it. And just like that, my marriage ended. Civilized. Pragmatic. Mature. Everything Maggie was. I waited 3 months after the divorce before I talked to Jennifer about us. 3 months to make sure I was certain. To make sure this wasn't just guilt or obligation or nostalgia. 3 months to prove I could be a good father without trying to win her back. 3 months to give her space to see me as something other than the man who'd abandoned her. On Caroline's first birthday, we had a small party at Jennifer's apartment. Just us. Michael, Maggie. Surprisingly, she and Jennifer had become friends. After everyone left, after Caroline was asleep, I helped Jennifer clean up. "Thank you for coming," she said. "For being here. For being such a good dad to her. I'm trying. You're succeeding. She adores you. Jennifer, I need to tell you something." "Okay. Maggie and I are divorced. It has been 3 months." She stopped wiping down the counter. "What?" "It was mutual. Amicable. We realized we'd married for the wrong reasons. We're better as partners than spouses. I'm sorry." "Don't be. It was the right choice. For both of us." I moved closer. "And I need you to know, it wasn't about you. Or it was, but not in the way you think. I don't understand. I married Maggie because I thought I needed someone who could handle my world. Someone who wasn't soft. Someone who wouldn't flinch at violence." I touched her face. "But the problem wasn't that you were soft. The problem was that I was afraid. Afraid of losing you. Afraid of destroying you. Afraid that loving you meant you'd end up dead. Diyun, I was a coward. I pushed you away before you could be hurt. Before you could be killed because of me. And in doing so, I hurt you worse than any enemy ever could have." Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. "You broke my heart. I know. And I'll spend the rest of my life making up for it, if you'll let me." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I'm still in love with you. That I've been in love with you for 3 years. That leaving you was the worst mistake I ever made, and marrying someone else didn't fix it." I took her hands. "I'm saying I want to try again. Properly. Honestly. No secrets. No protection. Just us. Building something real. We have a daughter together. If we try and it fails, then we'll co-parent like we have been, with respect and boundaries and maturity. But Jennifer, I have to try. I have to know if what we had was real. If it could work." She pulled away, walked to the window, looked out at the city. "I've been so angry at you. For months. Years. For leaving me. For making me feel disposable. For all of it. I know. But I've also," she stopped. "I've also been falling in love with you again. Watching you with Caroline. Seeing you try. Seeing you be vulnerable and human and nothing like the Reaper everyone talks about. So, is that a yes? It's a maybe. It's a let's stake this slow and see what happens. It's I'm terrified but willing to try. I'll take it." She turned back to me. "Ground rules. We date. Actually date. Not just co-parenting hangouts. Real dates where we get to know each other again. Done. And you're honest. About everything. About your work. About the dangers. About the parts of your life that are violent and complicated. Done. And if I decide it's not working, if I can't handle your world after all, you let me go without guilt or manipulation. Done." She moved closer. "And Diyun, I'm not soft. I never was. I'm just different than the people in your organization. That doesn't make me weak. I know that now. I should have known then." She kissed me. Tentative. Testing. I kissed her back. Gentle. Honest. Without the desperation of 18 months ago. "Okay," she whispered. "Let's try." 2 years later, Jennifer and I got married on Caroline's 3rd birthday. Small ceremony. Just family. Michael is our officiant. Maggie as a witness. She'd become Caroline's godmother, somehow. The boundaries between ex-wife, friend, and family are permanently blurred. It wasn't perfect. Jennifer still struggled sometimes with my world, with the violence that occasionally touched our lives, with the danger inherent in loving someone like me. But she didn't run, didn't flinch, just faced it with the strength I should have recognized from the beginning. Caroline grew up knowing her father was complicated, that her mother was strong, that their family was unconventional but real. That love didn't mean perfection. It meant showing up, being honest, choosing each other daily. Taeyong disappeared after leaving the organization. Rumor was he'd started something in another city. I didn't care enough to investigate. Maggie married a fellow surgeon. They visited monthly, brought Caroline presents, maintained the complicated friendship we'd built from the ruins of our marriage. And me? I learned that being human wasn't a weakness, that vulnerability was strength, that the soft parts of life, the parts I'd spent years avoiding, were actually the parts worth protecting. I still ran the organization, still made hard choices, still lived with violence. But I came home every night, to Jennifer, to Caroline, to a life that was real and messy and nothing like what I'd planned. It was better. The end. They say you can't go back. That leaving means leaving forever. I proved them wrong, not because I returned to where I started, but because I learned what I should have known all along. Real strength isn't protecting yourself from pain. It's allowing yourself to be vulnerable enough to hurt, to love, to choose someone again and again, even when it's hard. Jennifer taught me that. Caroline taught me that. Even Maggie taught me that. I didn't get a perfect ending. I got something better, a real one. So he divorced the pragmatic, perfect wife and went back to the soft ex who turned out to be the strongest person in this entire story. And they're raising Caroline together with his ex-wife as the godmother. This is the most beautifully complicated family I've ever seen, and honestly, sometimes the best love story is the one you have to fight for twice. Subscribe because next week's story is about a woman who discovers her husband is running two separate families and decides to unite them for revenge. It's unhinged. See you there. Okay, real talk. Should Yoon have stayed with Maggie, pragmatic, understanding, perfect partner, or was he right to go back to Jennifer, complicated, vulnerable, real love? A. Team Maggie, pragmatic love, is underrated and sustainable. B. Team Jennifer, passionate love that survives hardship is worth fighting for. C. Neither. He should have figured himself out before involving anyone. D. Both. Polyamory solves everything. I'm not joking. Drop your answer in the comments. And more importantly, was Taeyong right that Yoon was too soft to lead? Or did his humanity make him a better leader? Also, Maggie becoming Caroline's godmother and staying friend with everyone. Most mature character ever, or secretly still in love with Yoon? Sound off below. This story made me believe in second chances and complicated families. What about you?